Hey, welcome back, guys. Talking about Rick and Morty. Didn't think my first video about Rick and Morty was going to be this. I've watched the first 5 seasons. I like the show. I do. I think it's funny. I think it's a pretty cool show. I haven't seen season 6 or any episodes of it. I've been watching it on Hulu. That's how I binged it originally. And they don't have any episodes of season 6 up yet, so I haven't been able to, catch up on that. But while I was waiting, this came up. So you've all probably heard Justin Roiland has been accused of multiple things. Well, two main things, right? Sexual misconduct with, with minors, and also allegations that he beat his girlfriend or physical abuse with his partner sometime in 2020. And I have the article here. I'll pull it up in a minute. Just wanted to say, other YouTubers have already made their points, and some have defended him, some haven't. And I've already seen plenty of people on Twitter just, posting their opinions on either side of this thing. Adult Swim already said that they've, cut ties with him. So has like the company that made the video game High on Life, which he voiced the characters and was involved with that. Some people making kind of what I would consider pointless points in this whole thing, such as one YouTuber pointing out that he was not as involved with the show as people think he was, that his name on the credits doesn't even appear for most of the show, something like he's just the voice actor, which that's a stupid thing to bring up right now. In my opinion, it doesn't matter when you're making a video about this particular topic. People don't want, he's the voices and he does really good voice work. No one's gonna say that's not true. And he voices a lot of different characters in the show. So no one's, arguing that he stopped writing a lot of the seasons. That's fine. No one cares about that right now. What people care about is the elephant in the room. Did he or did he not do these other things? And that's mostly what this video is kind of about, this is just another thing I see happening where it's a he said, she said type of situation. And what I'm seeing a lot of is what I'm seeing a lot of is woman says man did something bad, and a man is going, woman is lying. So it's literally a he said, she said, or, she said something first and, he's saying she's lying. And the response I've seen is basically, we believe the woman. Why? Because she's a woman. I mean, I can't say that for sure. The companies that have cut ties with him, they may have some inside information we don't. But for the most part, I know none of you do. I know a lot of people on Twitter don't, that are just saying like, oh yeah, he's guilty of this. Oh yeah, another thing he's guilty of. I'm not saying he's innocent. I'm not saying he's guilty. I promise you, I'm not saying, oh, I believe he's 100% innocent. I know this man very well. I don't know him. I don't know him personally. I just like the show. I just like his voice acting. That's all I know about him. But what I'm seeing, and I have done my research, I looked into it. I said, okay, yeah, show me the evidence. I looked online. From what I've seen, there's no hard evidence provided. We're going to get into the tweets. We're going to look at the tweets. We're going to look at the screenshots of these girls that he texted. I'm going to pull those up. We're going to look at the pictures. I've already read them. I've already seen them, but we're going to go through them. And we're going to see the allegation that he beat, his girlfriend or whatever, and what his lawyer had to say and everything, and how he pleaded not guilty. But there's really been no evidence provided, and everybody's just jumping on the believe all women bandwagon. That's what it is. That this happens all the time, and I won't do it. I just won't do it. I won't jump on that. I won't just say, yeah, the woman is telling the truth because she's a woman. There's no evidence provided, so that has to be the only reason I would go with her, simply because of that. Apparently that's what Adult Swim did. One little thing I want to point out, if this had anything to do with those sexual allegations and screenshots, apparently those came out like a ways back before this whole thing with the physical abuse. Those things were already up in the air, apparently. So if Adult Swim and these other companies, if they knew and believed those things, those allegations from those girls who shared screenshots and then deleted their Twitter accounts and, made their, just some of them just disappeared. Which, of course, you could say, okay, they were scared and they were, afraid, or it was just someone trying to get famous, or it was just somebody trying to be a troll on Twitter. Like, tweets are not evidence. Just saying something happened is not evidence. With Photoshop and having people make fake accounts with fake profiles and photoshopping a fake verified Twitter checkmark and having a friend text you and, you know, all that crap. So why didn't they get rid of him when that stuff happened? Apparently, I think that, I'll look into it right now, but apparently I think that stuff happened before the physical abuse. But Adult Swim and the video game company and other people didn't cut ties with this guy until the physical abuse thing happened. Because there was an official, what was it? I think she filed a restraining order, it was more official. Someone actually took legal action. Whereas none of these girls that said, oh yeah, he was texting me and telling me to do sexual things online, and look at all these text messages and screenshots, they never went to the law, they never went to police, they never went to anybody. And for anyone that wants to make the defense of, oh, well, they were scared and they were, they didn't want to be put on in public and they didn't want to be put out there. Well, you don't have that. You know where I'm going next, right? They went on Twitter to thousands of people. They got hundreds of thousands of views on those tweets and those screenshots. So don't tell me they were scared to put their face and name out there. They put themselves out there. Supposedly these girls who he texted. It's not necessarily a crime. I know, right? It's not a crime because nothing's been done. It's accusations that you're preparing somebody for, when they're 18 or whatever. So it's sick, it's disgusting, but it's not a crime. So if you're going to say, well, the girls, it's not a crime, so the girls, what would they do? I didn't see them report him. Did he get his Twitter account suspended? Did he get permanently blocked off Twitter? There's been a few girls that just have been piling up and they've been accusing him and posting these supposedly real screenshots of their text conversations. Did Twitter do anything? Did Twitter suspend him at the time? Did Twitter get rid of him? So no. No, he's still on Twitter. I just checked. He's on Twitter. He's not been banned permanently. He's still on there. His account is still up. I don't understand. I mean, when did this happen anyway? I mean, before Elon Musk took over, right, officially? So you're going to say, oh, it's Elon Musk. Oh, he's a pedophile. He wants to support pedophiles. Or, the previous CEO of Twitter. You got two different political agendas there if you want to say, like, oh, it was a right and left thing. No. Where were those girls with Twitter? Where were those girls with, Twitter had a CEO at the time that would ban people for things they said outside of Twitter. That's one of the things I didn't like about the old the old ways of Twitter. I didn't see Twitter do anything to him. Apparently he sent messages on Twitter as well. There are screenshots, these supposed screenshots of conversations he had with these girls. Why isn't he banned on Twitter? Why hasn't Twitter done anything? Why didn't they go to the administrators? Why didn't they report those conversations? They took screenshots. Why didn't they share them? Why didn't they report? And why didn't Twitter do anything? And, any other social media that he talked to them on apart from just, text messaging. That's suspicious in and of itself. But anyway, it's this whole believe all women. This is so familiar. This is so familiar to me. I'm just pointing this out and I already know. These kinds of videos like the one I'm making right now, there's going to be morons who watch videos like the one I'm making right now, and then let's say he goes to court. He's going to go to court in a few months, I think, and let's say they find him guilty. Let's say he finds out, okay, he lied because he testified he was not guilty. His lawyer said he's not guilty. So if he, let's say they prove him guilty and he goes to jail. Overwhelming evidence, whatever, he's guilty. Let's say justice is served. I'm going to be happy. I'm going to go, okay, yeah, he was a creep. He was a whatever, or whatever it was for, if there's evidence and I can see it, it's true. All right, there, he went to jail. He was guilty. I'm not going to be disappointed like, oh man, I wanted him to not go to jail, even though he did things worthy of going to jail. No, of course I wouldn't say that. But there's going to be morons who are going to see this video I'm making, and then they're going to come back to this video and go, well, what do you think now? You gonna delete this video? You gonna delete? No, this opinion I'm making right now will always stand. Basically the point is, I don't ever accuse somebody of anything unless there's evidence. There's nothing wrong with making an assumption. Even before, I'm not saying with every single popular thing like this, when it comes to allegations against somebody, I literally wait till the judge makes his verdict and the jury gives their conclusion before I make any assumptions. No, there's nothing wrong with making assumptions. There's nothing wrong with posting your thoughts online either. There's nothing wrong with saying, well, look, based on the evidence, based on this, and that, it seems likely that this person, did these things. And this person seems like a liar, just based on the evidence. I see no problem with people talking like that. I see people talking about this situation like that. I see people going, I've seen animations he's made in the past. He's always been kind of creepy. So that's kind of giving me this vibe. My response to that, I don't even look at those people and go, you're the believe all women group. No, I go, you know what? That's reasonable. That's reasonable. You're at least looking at something saying, this is formulating my opinion, facts about his life. But they're not making a hard decision. I've seen some people say, well, I hope he's not guilty. Of course we hope people aren't guilty, but at least they're saying it's based on this, not just because I like the show and I wanted to have his voice. That's a horrible reason to do that, obviously. But most people I'm seeing, they're just announcing him guilty. I think it's out of fear, and I don't want to join those people. I never want to be a part of that group. I never want to be a part of your little group that says, that just out of fear. You go on Twitter right now, you're going to see a bunch of people in the replies of a lot of these news articles and everything posted about this, and everyone's like, yep, he's a creep. Oh, yeah. They're making fun of him. They're posting clips of Mr. Jellybean from the first episode and all this, saying, oh, that's him and everything. And that's a funny joke, but in the comments and replies, I just see a bunch of people going, man, I'm never going to watch this show again. I'm going to boycott it. I want to make sure nobody watches it. I'm going to tell people not to watch it. And I'm just like, where's the evidence? It's a he said, she said. With everything here, it's a he said, she said. It's a he said, she said with the physical abuse and also the screenshots. The screenshots is sketchier than, the whole situation is sketchier than the physical abuse thing. Point is, there's no evidence. It is innocent until proven guilty. Now, I think I can share with you already, where do I lean right now? Where do I lean? I lean towards it's not true. That's where I'm leaning. And I'll give you my reasons why. I wanted to say this whole situation, it looks a lot like Kavanaugh. It has so many similarities to the Kavanaugh case. I don't know if you guys remember that. We're not going to have a whole debate and go through the whole thing. But look, we can talk about some things that were pretty well known, that were made known to the, I don't trust the FBI and their report and all that. Okay, whatever. I'm just going to list some things that were reported and, compare it to the Rick and Morty situation. There was the whole thing with Ford, that lady who accused him of, what happened, 30, 40 years ago, and she couldn't remember where it happened, when it happened. Everyone kept repeating that famous, she couldn't remember anything about the situation. Her friend, her only witness, said, yeah, that didn't happen. And then when they went to Ford, was like, your only witness said, she doesn't remember that happening. Her response was, well, my friend's mentally unstable. She has some problems. She might not be remembering correctly. Whatever. There was one main woman that started it, Ford, and it got popular and it blew up. That's what I'm seeing here with his girlfriend from 2020 saying, oh, he beat me, and it's blowing up. Could be true, could not. But either way, that's the first similarity. One woman's kind of blowing this up. People are turning on him, just like people turned on Kavanaugh. People are turning on this guy, and now we're getting a bunch of, oh, look at all these screenshots. All these girls are popping up saying, oh, look what he sent to me, and look what he sent to me. And it happened, I think, before the beating thing, but just a bunch of girls saying, look at this, look at this. Same thing happened to Kavanaugh. I don't know if you remember. Same thing happened. As soon as Ford brought up her thing, as soon as that went viral, 4 or 5 other women brought up allegations. Said he whipped it out he whipped it out, flashed one of them and made her touch it in a bar, in a restaurant or something. Another woman said something similar. That's just straight up sexual assault. Most people don't know. Look it up. When police and FBI, when people actually went and found those women and went to investigate, You do know that every woman but Ford, pretty much, I do believe every one of those women except Ford, the most famous one, admitted to lying. All of them. All of them. They dropped their allegations. They said, no, never mind. I lied. Legit, I know one or two of them were like, yeah, no, I just made it up. I just jumped on the bandwagon. And the FBI investigation reported, like, yeah, they lied. Like, they literally, like, just lied to jump in on it. So I'm just saying, and go look that up for yourself. Don't just take my word for it. Go do your own research. Look these things up, But that I'm sharing that with you to tell you that's not impossible. That can happen. You can have a bunch of people see a famous person say things, and there's millions of people on the internet. You really don't think that a few people aren't going to be like, I want to make something funny. I want to make people, I want to make something to make myself go viral. I want to see a bunch of likes. I want to see a bunch of comments on my tweet. I'm going to say that he did something to me too. Literally, some women took advantage of that whole situation and did that. And of course, the news just ate it up and said, oh, look, we have another allegation, and when it actually came time, when the police showed up at their door and said, okay, now it's time for you to make an official claim with us, which is going to go on the record. And then those women said, never mind, we lied. Like, okay, we didn't know you were actually going to show up. Like, no, we lied. Like, he didn't really do that. He didn't really whip it out. He didn't really touch me here. He didn't really do that in a restaurant. Yeah, no, that didn't happen. It's happened before. I'm just saying it's happened before. That's why I don't just jump on the bandwagon. That's another reason I don't just jump on the bandwagon, believe all women. As soon as a woman or a group of women make an accusation, they're just telling the truth without any evidence. And screenshots are evidence to one degree. I'll admit that. I'm not going to deny that. And we're going to look at them right now. Okay, well, first, however this article is structured, we'll go through it. Who is Ali Gortz? I don't know how to say that. She made a song. I thought it said she made a song for the show, like she actually made the theme for the show, and that's like she worked with this guy. But no, it was actually that's not what was said. So I don't like her inclusion, like it's special in this article. You'll see it's kind of weird that they make her special out of all these other girls that have supposed screenshots. Anyway, Justin Rowland, underage girls DM screenshot surface. Yep. Rick and Morty co-creator Justin Rowland was recently charged with domestic violence in connection to a 2020 incident involving an anonymous woman. Shortly after, musician Ali Gortz shared a series of inappropriate Twitter messages she received from the animator. So, shortly after. So this happened afterwards. See, right there, I'm suspicious. Why? Why not come out before? Why now? Why do you feel? And some people are going to say, well, when someone else comes out, you feel like it inspires you, it makes you powerful. I don't believe his girlfriend was some big time celebrity or had a big show and presentation like Ford did live on TV for thousands of people to watch, and that got broadcast and went viral, like to that degree. And then women started making false allegations against Kavanaugh. This woman, I don't know what she looks like. I don't even know her name. Maybe I've read it once already and I forgot. It's probably in this article, but it just says his girlfriend accused him of beating him, and then a girl supposedly comes out and says, "Yeah, he sent me inappropriate text messages. Here are the pictures." I didn't want to share this before because I don't understand what the difference is. What's the difference? What is the difference before and after this accusation of him doing this? Other than now people on the internet might agree with you more than they would have if you shared it before. I mean, that would be a bad thing. That would be a bad reason if she did that. That would be that would be sketchy. That doesn't make sense to me. How long is this? How long ago did this happen? All right, so Ali Gortz, the first one to post the screenshots, I believe, and then after that, everything else came out. I'll say more later. For now, I'll just share the types of funny DMs Justin Rowland would send me. Posted and deleted this last night because I was worried about any backlash. Oh, so that's okay. So you're worried about backlash. What does it matter? You're sharing it now. You're talking about it now. I don't know. That's suspicious to me. You deleted the screenshots. Were you afraid people would take a closer look at them? Were you afraid people would notice that? I'm not saying she's lying. I'm not saying she's telling you. I'm not saying 100%. I know either or. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying, oh, I 100% don't believe her. I 100% don't believe Justin. I 100% don't believe her. There is not enough evidence to believe anybody here. This is so murky and sketchy on both sides of things. But everyone's so quick to jump on, he's guilty. And that's just weird to me. That, to me, it just looks like the believe all women bandwagon. Okay, so she was afraid of backlash. This is the thing, though. The screenshots are actual evidence. Why would you delete that? Why would that be backlash? The supporters are going to take accusations and screenshots the same way. I don't understand. Anyway, but this dude made me. This is what made me. Okay, she said this dude made me. That made me think she officially worked with the show. Like she worked with Adult Swim, or she got paid some check to make a song for the show. Someone who wrote a Rick and Morty concept album never watched this show again. This dude made me. That made me think she worked with him officially, which could have given her more credibility, because that would have meant she was someone who worked closely with him and on the show. But no, that's not what it is. They talk about her being an American musician and comedian who rose to fame. And they say she really took off and became popular with that Rick and Morty parody song she made. Yeah, here she is. She garnered significant recognition in 2015 after creating this Rick and Morty concept album, Sad Dance Songs. Gortz was born on March 2nd. Okay, 1991, whatever. And reportedly grew up with her 3 sisters. She started her music career by singing to strangers on chat roulette. I don't know if she was underage. I think it was just she was saying it was inappropriate language. I don't think she was underage when she messaged him, but it says in the wake of that, after the domestic violence, then many of his alleged improper texts to underage girls also surfaced online. On January 15th, a series of alleged messages from Roland sent to a 16-year-old back in 2015 surfaced online. Although the original poster eventually went private, the screenshots were further shared on Twitter by other users. So I don't think the other girl was underage when he was sending these messages and she was making the song. I think she was a grown woman, but or just an adult. But she was saying, oh, it was inappropriate language. I don't know the context of the messages, or again, even if they're true. Here's one Twitter user saying, absolutely insane Riz from Rick and Morty's conversation with a 16-year-old fan. So, here's people just saying, like, look at the absolute insane. Don't even put the word supposed, don't even put the word allegedly, just say, look at the conversation going on. The caption of the original post read, on September 2013, Justin Roiland followed me on Twitter. I was 16. Of course, I was excited because I loved Rick and Morty at the time, so I messaged him first and we started talking every now and then. Some of it very casual, but some parts were 100% weird. According to the screenshots shared by Twitter user @MartyAmericaUSA, Roland asked the minor to run away from school and go into sex slavery. He also allegedly addressed her as a and called her jailbait, and said she would go into cam whoring once she turns 18. And of course, after he sent these messages to her on Twitter, this girl immediately reported him for inappropriate language on Twitter, and he got suspended, and people were super curious, and it blew up on the news why Justin Roland's Twitter account was suspended. No. As far as I know, to my knowledge, that didn't happen. So, I don't understand. Does Twitter blow you up like when they ban somebody? Does Twitter have to say, this girl who lives at this address and this is her picture and this is her name, or even at the very smallest, this is her Twitter account? No, they would never do that. I don't think they would do that. I think Twitter would ban him, and if the news kept poking around and Twitter wanted to answer, or, he could answer, it would be revealed at that time, okay, he was banned on Twitter, he was, punished because some girl sent screenshots. No, she didn't want to send it until now, until other girls are sharing things. He's still on Twitter, by the way. He's still on Twitter. Girls, if you're watching, if you're watching right now, any girls that Justin Roland has tweeted these inappropriate messages, report him. I thought you wanted to hurt him. Some of these girls say, I don't want anybody to watch Rick and Morty anymore. Boycott the show. Okay, you want to boycott this guy? You want to hurt him? Get him banned off Twitter first. I mean, come on. Getting him banned off one of his social media sites, isn't that something you want to do? He texted you inappropriate messages, didn't he? He said some horrible things to you. When you were underage, some very sexual things, some very bad, inappropriate things when you were underage. Like, that's horrible. Report him. Show it to Twitter. Because apparently Twitter will do that to people even from tweets way back. That's a popular thing to joke about now, right? People getting canceled for something they tweeted 5 years ago. Well, my goodness, well, I guess you're thinking Twitter won't do it now? Well, how come you didn't do it then? You certainly had the type of Twitter at that time that would have banned him. You certainly did. Why didn't you? It's a question worth asking. I'm just saying, it's a question worth asking. You can't deny that. A Facebook user called Jana Waters also claimed that Roiland texted on Twitter when she was 16 and called her insanely hot. The user also alleged that the Rick and Morty co-creator allegedly has had a predatory scout named Christy, who used to find quote, young girls who looked a certain way for the creator. Everyone's texting him on Twitter. All these things happening on Twitter. I mean, this guy has to be really stupid to like do this on Twitter nonstop. Like, he doesn't know that they can screenshot the conversation. That's another thing. That's another thing. You really, again, I'm not saying I'm 100% believe he's innocent. I 100% believe he's not guilty. I'm not saying either of those things. Obviously, you can tell where I lean because I'm a suspicious person. The reason, especially after situations like Kavanaugh, like Jussie Smollett, like all those cases, you still have to explain to me why the first girl was brave enough to stand up and why she waited, 8 years? Was it 2015, right, that it said that the girl, the first one, the comedian, musician, why didn't she say anything years ago? Why is she just saying something now? Why did she wait all these years through her career? What empowered her? Oh, I see he's been accused of hitting his girlfriend. Now I'm going to say something. From 2015. I'm not afraid to say I'm suspicious of that. I'm not afraid to say that. It is suspicious. It's weird. I don't know why she didn't say anything before. Okay? Justin Roiland has a track record of using the social media to hit up and exploit. I'm sorry. I went on a rabbit trail. I apologize. I was going to point out, not only do you have to say that all of these girls just got the bravery now and empowered each other to stand up, and the first girl just got empowered by the physical abuse allegation to stand up since 2015 or 16, whatever it was. You have to claim that. You also have to claim that he's either incredibly stupid or he wanted to get caught. How do you text so many underage girls and know they're underage and say things to them about how you want them to do sexual things when they're older and do sexual things now? How do you text that to underage girls knowing they're underage and not expect them to screenshot the conversation and save the pictures? That's another thing you have to believe if you believe he's guilty. If you're going to go in that direction, that has to be something you believe. Whereas in other cases I've seen with celebrities who it was proven if they did something, usually it was one person that they really thought they groomed enough and they, exploited enough, just like one or two individuals, and they really thought they manipulated them enough and talked with them for years enough that they would keep quiet and never say anything, or maybe pay them hush money. But that's not the case here. The accusation here is just he literally would just bump into a bunch of underage girls online, a ton of them, 4, 5, 6 allegations now, just girls saying yeah, he just found out I was underage and just texted me, or I texted him, and then we just started talking, and yeah, and then he started saying all these things all of a sudden. That's a little less believable. Again, you have to say he just can't control his pedophilic urges, and he just was so stupid and couldn't control those urges that he just willy-nilly just every single thinking they're not going to screenshot this and save it. I don't need to keep working on these people. I don't need to threaten them or pay them any hush money. That's going to be fine. That's going to be fine. I'm sure she's not going to take that conversation and do anything bad with it. You have to believe that if you believe he's guilty. So, I'm just pointing that out. That's not an easy thing to believe. I don't know the guy. I don't know much more about him personally. So if he's incredibly stupid like that, that's not an impossibility. There are really stupid celebrities out there who would do things like that. That's not a far reach. I believe this is an open secret in the industry He used my sexual trauma and my love for Rick and Morty to groom me, and I am just one of so many. I am so glad this is public. There's the I'm so glad this is public. I guess, this is, her way of saying, like, that's what got me to say something, is because now I feel empowered. Whereas before I was too scared to stand up because I didn't feel strong enough. I didn't feel the power to do it, but these other women gave me strength. It's possible. I'm not saying it's impossible. It's possible, but again, you have to acknowledge that is an obstacle. That is a hoop to jump through. Okay, in addition to the allegations, the Orange County Superior Court charged Justin Roiland with 1 felony count of domestic battery with corporal injury and 1 felony count of false imprisonment by menace, violence, fraud, and or deceit in connection to a 2020 domestic violence incident. A protective order filed in October 2020 and valid until October 2023 prohibits Roiland from harassing, threatening, surveying, or going within 100 feet of the plaintiff. The animator was also asked to turn in the firearm he owned or possessed. Roiland has reportedly denied the charges filed against him. Yeah, and his lawyer also, his lawyer said the same thing. His lawyer actually said that he said this is going to be like, I don't want to paraphrase, you can go read what his lawyer said. Something like, this is going to be like embarrassing once it's over, like he's really innocent, like this is not true at all. But I think he was specifically talking about the physical abuse allegations, not the screenshots. That happened very recently. And of course, Adult Swim has ended ties with him. They've made their decision. Adult Swim has made the decision that those girls' screenshots are 100% real. They are true. Those girls are telling the truth. Those are real conversations. Adult Swim has made up their mind that, yep, that is 100% true. And his girlfriend, whoever he was dating in 2020, is 100% telling the truth. Adult Swim either believes those two things 100%, or they are not sure but just don't care because they can see how the majority of you all are voting on Twitter, and so they're going to go with the popular vote. My money's on either or. I mean, there's really no other option other than a third malicious option, which is they hate him and did this out of knowing it was fake to hurt him. I don't see that, but it's either one of the other two I named. So just wanted to make this to say, I am not saying I know 100% and I'm sure that he's innocent. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying I'm 100% sure and I know for sure that he's guilty. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying the other one. I'm not saying the same thing about the girls, whether it be his girlfriend, whether it be these girls who shared screenshots, including that comedian/musician. I am not saying with all those girls, I'm not saying, oh yeah, they're all liars. I know 100%. I'm not saying they're all innocent. I'm not saying they're all telling the truth 100%. I'm not saying that. I'm going to wait for more evidence. And I understand the way it sounds. Right? Oh, there's a lot of them. Where were they? And as you can obviously tell from this video, you can tell where I lean. I'm on the fence, but you can tell which side I lean towards. I lean towards they're lying. I lean towards it's a Kavanaugh situation. I don't really have a high hope for anything. I mean, actually, yeah, what do I hope? That's probably not appropriate to mention in this kind of video, right? It's going to make me sound biased. I mean, I think we would all hope that he's innocent, because what would that mean? That would mean one less pedophile, and that would just mean liars. I'll take a person lying over a person being a pedophile any day. I think we all would, right? So there's nothing wrong with people saying that either on Twitter. I've seen some people say, I hope he's innocent, and I'm pretty sure I've seen some people get torn down for saying something like that and accused of being just as evil as the things he's being accused of. That's horrible. How is it wrong now to hope that somebody's innocent? It's like, oh, but that's accusing the women. Yeah, that's the lesser of two evils. I would hope that the situation ends up being he was innocent in those two things and that it was just women lying to get famous. That's the better of the two situations. I would rather that is the better of the two situations. I would rather have it be that people lied and told fibs than someone was an actual pedophile and a groomer. That would be the better situation than what it appears most of you are hoping for, which is kind of sad. But again, if not hope, yeah, you should never hope for that. But if you're thinking that, and you're thinking it based on evidence, Okay, I support that. I'm fine with that. I'm not against anybody who says, I think he's guilty. Just make sure that when you say, I think he's guilty, I would hope most of you say it because of evidence. Because you go, well, I look at this, this, and that. Not, well, a woman, and there's a good number of women. Wow, there's a lot of people saying this, and they're women. Either or both is no good reason to just believe them. Same thing with men. Don't believe all men. That should never be a hashtag either. That's stupid. Don't believe any gender because of their gender. Don't believe anybody because of numbers. Believe people because of evidence. Believe people because of facts. You know, and I just see this as another believe all women type situation right now. I really do see people out of fear online just kind of following one another like, oh, everybody's like, if you take a Twitter poll, I guarantee most of the polls would say he's guilty. Just because of the number of these girls showing up and, you know, because they're girls. I guarantee most of it is people doing that out of fear rather than, I see very, very few people online saying innocent until proven guilty. I see more people saying the opposite. Like, it's not even close. But yeah, just wanted to share that. It looks like one of those situations. Not saying 100% here or there. Not saying that at all. That would be wrong. But you're allowed to have assumptions based on whatever is presented so far. And with everything presented so far as we've gone through here, you can tell where I lean. I wanted to give you the reasons and walk you through some of my logic as to why I lean that way. I'm pretty sure I didn't say anything that would insinuate bias or anything like that. I know I did say I like the show, but I made clear to say that has nothing to do with it. I'm not hoping for this so that the show the show's going to continue. They're going to find a guy that sounds just like him, and I'm not going to tell the difference too much. Like, you know, I've seen a lot of good people do. I've seen a lot of people do good impressions, so there's no bias there. I don't think him being gone, and he didn't even write. Like people said, oh, maybe that's the point people were making. I don't know, but now I feel bad for what I said in the beginning of the video. But anyway, that's true. He didn't write most of the show, so. That's not a bias of mine. This whole thing is just innocent until proven guilty. You can make assumptions, but you can't say 100% guilty just because a certain gender is accusing somebody or because a certain number of people are accusing somebody. That's not how you judge things, but that's what I'm seeing with this situation, and that's not what should happen. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.